Derek, we haven't had a chance to talk to you since the injury. How are you doing with everything and the way the end of the season went?
Yeah, I'm probably still a little bit away from getting cleared from all of that stuff, but I did everything I could to try and be out there, and appreciative to the organization and to Coach Riz, for giving me that chance, because I think it's always important to my teammates for me to do everything as the quarterback, as a captain, as a leader, to do everything you can to be out there for them. And so they saw me here every day trying to shoot it up and trying to do all these different kind of things. It didn't come down to certain things. It came down to just I couldn't hold a football, and it's kind of important to do. Ended up not working out, but I'm very appreciative of them giving me every opportunity to try and be out there to the last second.
Derek, how tough was that for you not to be able to play toward the end?
It sucked. This is most games I've ever missed, and on something so crazy too. And the hard part is, we were doing some things really well, and it was really, really fun to play in this system. Really fun to play for these coaches and with this team and my teammates. And to not be out there, it broke my heart. You feel like, yes, that they're freak things, but you always feel like, just as a human, you may not let them down, and you never want to let your teammates down and not be out there for them. And so, that breaks your heart. And our teammates are great about, reminding you there's nothing you can do about injuries and things like that, but you still, just as a competitor, feel bad about it.
Derek, what would you like to see happen in the offseason?
I'd like to get healthy. I'd like my body to feel good when I wake up. That's number one. I'd love to take my wife on some more dates. That's going to be a lot of fun. Moving into our place in Fresno. Excited about that for my kids to finally have a place they can call home. Because instead of we've moved a lot. And they've been asking me where are we going to grow up forever. And so we always told them Fresno. Now we get to do that. And so they're excited about that. And so I'm excited about those things in the off season. Football takes a little bit of a back seat. When it's family time. And so,
Big picture.
Yeah.
You thought about it at all?
Oh yeah, I've had nothing but time to think about everything. And I'm excited. The number one thing is I have to get healthy. I got to take care of myself, and then, the rest after that is really out of my hands. I've had great conversations with everyone in this building, with Mickey, with Miss Benson, with everybody, and we all have mutual feelings, and so my confidence level is very high, in what can happen, what could happen, and we've shown what it could possibly be at times, and the hard part is we had to deal with some stuff that we didn't get to see that full picture all the time. So we'll see. A lot of that's out of our control, and and as players, you show up and give your best every day. But we'll see what happens.
You mentioned that the feelings are mutual. How does that feel like us going into the off season when obviously an off season can be very uncertain for a lot of people, even in this locker room?
100%, and nothing's ever promised in this game. And y'all know me, man. I'm positive about everything. But my conversations with Mickey, with Miss Benson, with Riz and Clint and everybody, it's been super positive. And I'll never speak for them. I'll let them speak for themselves. But I feel excited about being here because I feel like we finally, not only the last 16, 17 games or whatever, played really well, but also my wife and I have been able to do what we do in the community. That's super important to me. I'm super passionate about our city and our fans and this organization and my teammates, and I feel like we finally starting to put our thumb down on who we are, and people are getting to see who we are, and that part's exciting for me. But also this is a business. When you're going to be 34 and you make a certain amount of money, I'm never surprised by anything. My brother always told me if they got rid of Peyton Manning, they can get rid of you. And that is the truth. And I've always believed that since day one I got in the NFL. And so for me, I'm fully confident, but at the same time, nothing ever surprises you. But I've had great conversations with everybody.
Yeah, what do you think this team needs in a head coach? What are the characteristics they should be looking for in a head coach?
Well, I think you have to be able to demand a room. You got to be able to control a room. At this point, not a lot of guys need motivation. We're professionals. We know what it takes to get ourselves ready to go. But there are times in camp. There's times where a word from a coach and an inspiration or a motivation is needed, and someone that can control the room, control the temperature, can gauge the temperature. Real people person. That's the most important part. Your coordinators are going to do their thing. They're going to control the offense and the defensive scheme and coaching that every day. But head coach has to be a leader of men, and I've always felt that way. Reminds me of Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia is the best leader of men I've ever been around. And I told y'all, Riz reminded me of him this year as the way he can lead men and the way he can motivate us, and hopefully he gets every chance to have the job because we loved him. But we all in this circle know it's all out of our control. So being a leader of men, though, is very important in this game.
You mentioned some of those positive signs, in the last some odd games.
Yeah.
If you were talking to a fan, right, and they were saying why should they be encouraged in the future and what's next for the Saints, what would you say?
Well, whenever we were all out there, it looked pretty darn good, and having those reps and having that time on task, I'd say it looked really good. And I think we all enjoyed those times, myself included. Hopefully we get a chance to do that. And, again, you never know what the future holds. You never know, what's going to happen and all those kind of things. But very proud of what we were able to put on tape. The silent movie. Coach Dub always talked to me when I was, 17, 18 years old. He said, football is all about the silent movie. What's that film say? I don't care what you say. What's the film say? And when we turned the film on, when we were all out there, it looked pretty darn good, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do that again someday.
What's just the next steps for the rehab process?
Just getting cleared from all the stuff. I still got to get cleared from certain protocols and get clear all the physical stuff and all that kind of stuff, which it should happen here in the next couple weeks. And so that's number one, taking care of my body. Especially as just being honest, as you get older, you gotta do that even more than you do the work. And so taking care of my body is number one, and getting away from the game mentally, and really just getting around my family, getting around my wife, spending time with her, praying about what the future holds for us as a family and for this year and all those kind of things. And we usually do that every year, but that's especially important now.
Now that the season's over, are there any surgical options that re-enter the picture?
No, I don't have to. We did some checkup scans just to make sure and all that, and everything was healing nicely. And so thankfully, I'm not going to have to do that as long as it keeps going, the way it's going. Because that would just be annoying and set back a little bit. But I don't have to do that right now.
Derek, are you happy here?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I freaking love my teammates, love this organization. Miss Benson is unbelievable. Mickey's been unbelievable to me, and everyone upstairs. Every interaction I've had with our community and our fans here, when I go out to dinner and stuff like that, it feels like a college atmosphere. The love for the Saints, the love for us, the support that we have as players, even when it's hard. I had a couple, I'll say young ladies, they were older ladies, but come up to me and say, don't worry, you just take care of yourself and you come back. It's just the love they have for us just as people, They're like, you need to be a dad right now, and it's just, it's adorable, But for me, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time, and it just sucks that, with all the injuries that we weren't able to play a lot this year. For me, missing one game is way too many, and not being able to do that made it not as fun because I couldn't be out there to help. Especially when you feel like you can help. But besides that, I 10 out of 10 have enjoyed my time here and wouldn't change it for anything.
Players at your stage of your career sometimes want to win at a high level.
Yes.
How frustrating, how much will that determine maybe your future?
Yeah. All I want to do is win a championship. That's literally all I care about. When I was a kid, I dreamed of being a professional quarterback. God placed that in my heart. Even when I wanted to play basketball, I knew what I was going to do, and I ended up doing this, and all I've ever wanted to do is play quarterback and win championships. And I've been able to break records and Pro Bowls and take care of my family, and that was never my dream. My dream was to win. And so, yes, when that goes in part of, praying about, what does it look like? What does everything look like? I put it all in God's hands, and I've always done that my whole life, and He's never let me down, And so I got to get away from it mentally, because it's just been hard. The injuries, the rehab, it's like Groundhog Day. It's tough, mentally, and so I got to get away from that. But yeah, all I want to do is win, and so hopefully, we can, figure that out and do that here because we believe that, when we put it all together, we're a pretty darn good football team.
Do you expect the organization to include you in any decision making, head coach, or?
I personally never want to be the reason someone does or doesn't get a job, but I have had conversations where they do want to know what I think, and so anytime that someone asks what you think, that's a good thing. They care about what you have to say. So, the main part of that is that hopefully over the last 2 years inside this building, I've proven to everyone in this building that all I care about is winning, and that's all I want to do. And they trust what I have to say by what I've shown them, not by what I've said. And so far that's been the case. And as an older player, you appreciate that. Awesome. Thank y'all. Good to see y'all.